Even if she claims she's never had a boyfriend and she's 32 years old. She is part of the problem. Beat women more.
The low-value man to alt-right pipeline creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. They consume rhetoric that makes them
Chat, am I a low value man because I'm part of the alt-right pipeline?
and became interesting people, they wouldn't be unfuckable. We have to make enough to provide.
Bruh, do you talk to men? So why don't the men have the house, huh? You are part of the problem.
I have more respect for a homeless man living off-grid than I do for a cuck that fell for the 9-to-5 psyop. And if they weren't submitted,
Bruh, you're just complaining about the guy not having a house and not being able to provide. What do you think the 9 to 5 does? This was in stream suggestions to make fun of this woman here, and as I said earlier, I was going to try to come from a position of superiority. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to come from a position of superiority, but I will try. But yeah, there's this. Okay, so first off, before we get too deep into this, okay, PSA: do not go after the femcel. Okay, do not go after the femcel. Okay, do not harass her. Don't attack her. Don't stalk her. Do not interact. Do not touch the poo. Okay, we are laughing at women because women are hypocritical and they like to demean other women. Okay, it's that simple. Do not actually harass her. That is gay. So there's this lady. It was in my stream suggestions called Chevy Assists and Makes Stuff. She's got a relatively new channel, and she basically was going down the femcel route, which femcels do not exist. There's no such thing as, because the femcel is supposed to be the female equivalent of an incel, and an incel is an involuntary celibate. And involuntary celibates are specifically a guy thing because the dating scene is so fucked up that it's really hard for guys to get a woman. But it's really easy for a woman to get a man. And so femcels don't exist. If a woman is single, it's her fault. It's either because she's not actually putting herself out there, she's insane and no guy wants to touch her, but even then, chances are a guy would still touch her because men, listen, I love you guys, but you need to raise your standards, okay? No offense. I get it's tough out there, but please, I beg you, raise your standards. Even if like they're significantly overweight, like the woman can still get a man. So like the only reason why a woman can't get a man is she's not actually putting herself out there. She truly is just holding up in her house and not leaving it. And even then you can still get a man online. Like there's no such thing as a femcel. All you need to do is just interact with a man, and bam, it's not that hard, okay? It's not that hard. Femcels don't exist. Or she's a blue-haired nose ring girl. There are still guys that will go after that woman for some reason. I mean, look at fucking Arch, okay? This man, unashamedly, is that a word? Whatever. That man actually likes women with nose rings, okay? And piercings and tattoos. In his defense, not because he actually finds them attractive, because he actually likes what it represents, the mental instability. But there are still men who go after, like a 300-pound blue hair feminist because they just see the razor standards. And I hope that's none of you guys, okay? If that's any of you guys, please get help. I legitimately mean it. Unabashedly, thank you, chat. I'm retarded. But it's not that hard for a woman to get a man. Like the old phrase, and there still is some truth to it. The old phrase is that women control access to sex and men control access to relationships. But thanks to hoflation and the dating scene, the dating apps, feminism, Year of Our Lord 2025, blah 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 blah. Women also control access to relationships too. I mean, there are like women that just go and sleep around because they're just whores, and there are some of them that do get stuck in the whole girlfriend phase because they're giving the cow for free, or the milk for free, or they're trying to sleep with Chad, and instead of actually settling down like they should. But that's not really the matter of the whole men control access to relationships issue. That is just women just being whores just because they want to be whores because feminism has brainwashed them. Like, the things have changed since 15 years ago in that regard. So, femcels don't exist. Men get with who they can, men will marry who they can. Yeah, to a certain extent. Maybe I'm just in the wrong circles because I know it doesn't reflect completely reality, but it seems like there's a lot of men out there that actually just really want to just get married and have kids, and they're just not being able to find a woman that is actually not a crazy fucking feminist that's significantly overweight that wants to get married and have kids. A lot of them are just whores. It's things are definitely not easy these days, and so this woman here, to go back to Miss Shelby being, never having a boyfriend at 32 years old, I either one, I don't believe her, or two, there's something severely wrong with her. Which, based off what I was saying in stream suggestions, it seems like it could be the latter. But if you truly never had a boyfriend at 32 years old and you're a woman, there is something actually severely wrong with you. She's autistic, by the way. Okay, listen. I have mixed feelings on autism because I feel like everyone has autism these days, and if everyone has autism, then no, the autism doesn't fucking exist. It just seems like a natural, it naturally occurs in humans if it does exist. Or it could be like technology and the highly processed foods we eat causing brain damage, because that actually is happening, and causing social retardation. That too, it could be a mix of above, the vaccines. When it comes to autism, it's like, okay, I don't really know if it's real other than the severe forms of it where they're literally like drooling from the mouth and they can't function and they're hitting their head against the wall. That kind of mental retardation. Or if it is the high functioning one that pretty much everyone in the world fucking has at this point, then okay, you're still functioning human being. Just because you struggle in social settings doesn't mean it's impossible. There are still plenty of autistic people and autistic women out there that can get dates. Like if you just have to actually challenge yourself and work on yourself to make it better. I have some friends that claim they've been tested and they actually have real autism. And you know what? To be honest, I can kind of see it. So, like, I'm not fully like, autism doesn't exist. But at the same time, they're actually, just because they're awkward with social situations, and sometimes you have to, like, clarify things a little bit better. Sarcasm doesn't really fully get understood from time to time. There's some miscommunication every once in a blue moon. We can still get along. Like, just an adjustment here. Rob's a slur. You can't hold me accountable. I'm autistic. That's how I feel like what it is these days. Like, everybody's like, oh, I'm autistic and bipolar and depressed and anxious and I can't function. Well, I'm sorry your life sucks, but you still kind of have to do something about it to some sort of degree. I really don't have much sympathy for people who say that stuff anymore because I have heard it so much throughout my lifetime now from being online and in real life too, where people are actually like using their mental illness as for victim points and for shielding. And half the time they either don't fucking have it, or if they do have it, they just use it as their way to be grossly incompetent. And I'm tired of hearing that. So it's like the boy who cried wolf. I have to see like a very severe case or something like really fucked up for me to like, okay, fine. You know what? You really got a rough out there. I'm sorry for your loss, bro. That's just how it is. And so maybe in her case it actually is real. I just frankly just don't believe it. Like I have a really hard time with that. And there is this popularization recently over the past year with the whole girl failure, femcel type of woman. Like there's lots of memes of like, wanting the guys wanting the girl failure girlfriend too. And I'm not gonna call her a grifter because, well, maybe depends depending on how the video goes. I feel like grifters are pretty heavy label and it gets tossed around too much. I feel like grifter is something really mean and harsh to actually call somebody because there are people out there that are genuine, but just because they go against the grain, they're called grifters. But I try to use it sparingly. However, she starts channel 5 months ago. Never had a boyfriend at 30 years old, and my 20s were awful and total waste. I'm completely worthless. I have no one to talk to. No purpose. Low self-esteem at 32. Like, she's not even, like, ugly. Like, I know she's not really, like, wearing makeup in this. These thumbnails. Though her profile pic is a little bit more edited. Frankly, it's kind of not exactly a good profile pic. She's got the wrong lens. It makes her face look really elongated. But she clearly did her hair and stuff in this case. But like this thumbnail, for example, right? All she needs to do is like brush her hair a little bit, and then I'm not sure if that's a mole or a pimple. I think that's a mole. She's just mid, and mid's not actually a bad thing. You know, brush her hair, smile, and probably wear some better clothing, and she'll be like perfectly fine. Lots of videos crying, and I bet it's a scam. We work just to survive for what? Like, this is, I don't know, a bit much, okay? At 32, I've never been in love. I don't know. Listen, I am pressing X to doubt for this woman here. Mid is fine, okay? It's okay to be mid. It's average. But unfortunately, that's how it is working, thanks to a lot of it is because of the dating apps. Women can look outside of their town because beforehand, back in the olden days, you were just stuck in whatever small town or little section of the city that you were a part of, and so your pool of people was whoever was basically surrounding you. In fact, I remember learning in AP Psych that by the time you hit 18, you've already met your significant other, who you're supposed to be married to, because you technically are supposed to be dating in the small circle of whatever town you come from, and maybe like the surrounding area. But now, thanks to the dating apps, you can see much further than that. You can see a lot more than what you normally see, even in your town too. Because you know, if you live in like a little bit larger town, you're still usually stuck in the section that you normally are. Like, and so therefore, women have complete wider access to whatever men that they want. And women control access to sex, and now they have control access to relationships because of this too. Because women now put themselves as higher value, and it's a problem. So whatever problem this woman has is pretty severe, if she truly is never had a boyfriend at 32 years old. So the reason why I'm talking about this lady is because she had this video, "Lonely men are not ugly, they are dangerous." And as you can see, she's doing quite well for herself. Apparently she's lost subs since the video came out, so she probably had more. I mean, she's getting, you know, decent views that are actually not really actually equivalent to her sub base here. And so she was doing decently well for herself. But then she dropped this video called "Lonely Men Are Not Ugly, They're Dangerous." And it was so bad that she straight made it members only. We cannot read the comments anymore because it is members only now. And I'm not going to pay this void for what the fuck she said. Thankfully, for better or for worse, the internet does not forget. And so it has been archived. And she also has a subreddit that was supposed to be for her. And I'm not sure if it got wiped or what it was, because there's barely any posts nowadays. But apparently it was just filled with bashing her, because her fans turned on her for this stuff. And this video is what was in stream suggestions, because apparently it was so bad it basically made her hemorrhage support. So, my lonely men in chat, are you just dangerous after all? Are you dangerous? And because there's some spicy there's some things that are still left on the subreddit. I'm kind of curious how that's gonna go down. But let's watch the actual video first to get the proper context here.
So I know that what I'm about to say is going to piss the majority of my audience off, but before you leave a hate comment, hear me out. And I don't mean to come off as a
I don't think that PSA worked in her favor.
misandrous, because I know what I'm saying does not apply to all men, but it is always a man. So I'm going to tell you this. You are not ugly. I repeat, you are not ugly to women. You are dangerous. You are creepy. It is not a male loneliness epidemic at this point. It is a male consequence epidemic. And that's what a lot of you guys don't want to hear.
This is scripted. She keeps on looking down at it. It sounds like it's scripted. Now, it's a video, but this whole format with like the art in the background, the messy room, no makeup, disheveled, femcel stuff that she's doing, like that made me think that it was gonna be like the off the cuff kind of format video, not whatever scripted this is. Which makes me feel like it's like she actually wrote her thoughts down. And she thought, yes, this is a good idea to post this. That's even worse. Because at least it was like off the cuff. You know, then you could be like, oh, she like misspoke. Granted, it's a video, so like she should have watched it back and like changed some things or something along those lines. It's not like a live stream like what I'm doing here, where I could actually drop the N-word or something like. that. And I was like, oopsies, I fucked up. Tee hee. Ooh, ooh, rar XD. No, like, she scripted this stuff. Like, she actually wrote this down. She probably went through, like, edited it and changed some things. Like, and she still thought it was a good idea to post this.
The average man risks getting their feelings hurt when they get rejected by a woman. When a woman says no, we literally risk our lives. Most men have never been followed home, groped, or cornered by someone 3 times their size and strength whose only intention is to fuck you with or without your consent, and it shows.
Keep in mind, this woman, one of her first couple videos were her complaining that she was 32 and single. And she never had a boyfriend before. And she's complaining about being groped and stuff. Like, obviously, being sexually harassed is different from, getting a date. But what circles, what areas of life are you going into that you can't get a date and you're being harassed and sexually harassed? Because this is such a 2014 feminist talking point. Like, I can hear Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, Lacey Green, the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian before she herself got groped by a brown man, complaining about the patriarchy and how there's a rape culture and men are just evil sex pests that just use women for their vaginas, and I just can't, but I can't learn how to like close my legs. Like, this is taking me back. Like, I need Sargon's I need Sargon of Akkad, like the actual historical image of him, not the Carl Benjamin like IRL face pic in the background with a shitty microphone, the talking about this and destroying BTFOing because they just simply do not understand what men think. What is this? What is 2014 feminism?
No one likes the term toxic masculinity, but that's exactly what it is, because men are not taught to be concerned with women's feelings of safety. 1 in 4 women have been victims of completed sexual assault, and 90% of us have experienced sexual misconduct by the time we're 21.
I'm sorry I'm pausing like every 10 seconds, but she keeps on saying retarded shit, okay? Fuck, this is 2014 feminism. What? Oh my god. Okay, bitch. Where are you going? Because if you're going to parties, clubs, like college parties as well, like I used to be terrified of that thanks to my time on Tumblr and feminism and hearing about these rape statistics and blah blah blah. I was like, okay, so then you just don't go to parties then. Cover your drink. Don't leave it unattended. Like, watch yourself. How about you don't put yourself in positions of vulnerability? Don't be walking around in a short skirt with your ass hanging out at 2 a.m. at night in the big city. Like, there are ways to prevent yourself from being raped, and it's called don't be retarded. Like, and also stay away from brown men. Like, there are ways to stop this from happening. And if you're not actually having preventive measures, then yes, then something might actually happen to you because women are the weaker sex. So try to be smart instead of tough instead. But at the same time, there's also this issue where women think anything's rape. Like wolf whistling, or catcalling was considered like rape under feminist standards. Even just looking and being asked out is like sexual harassment. The whole Me Too movement from like 2016, granted it started because of Harvey Weinstein, but even then, like, the more I think about it and gotten older, I don't think Harvey Weinstein really did anything wrong. Like, because the woman consented to him having sex with him so they could advance their career. Was it a little bit scummy? Yes, but there's a reason why that trope exists in the first place, where women will fuck their boss for career advancements. That's exactly what happened with Weinstein there. Like, okay, and now we have this problem where, like, any woman can be like, oh my god, he sexually harassed me. What did he do? He called me pretty. I'll kill yourself. Like, this is just bullshit. Everything about this is bullshit, and we're only a minute and 9 seconds in. This is 2014 feminism. Where's my shoe button?
As a woman, I am scared of men, and that's probably for the best. I'm scared of men who express disrespect when they hear no. I'm scared of men who keep asking for more opportunities when they hear no, because no is a complete sentence. You are not being tested by us when we say no. No means no. I wish men would suffer in silence like we do, because why do I have to keep hearing about it? Most people who make up incel content are caught up on height or looks without ever caring that they make women feel like we are in danger of being essayed when we are in their presence.
Once again, I have to ask, who are you around? Miss, I've never had a boyfriend at 32 years old. Like, I have not felt that way unless I was around Browns. And I was only around Browns when I came to work. And that was actually, like, especially at the gas station, that was like, oh, that was a whole different story. It's it's not a very thing. Most men are actually really scared of the Me Too movement, and they're nice guys, and not in the whole creepy like, oh, it's a nice guy trope. Basically, the male feminist, where he's, I'm a male feminist, therefore I'm gonna rape you, like that kind of thing. They're just nice guys because they're human beings too. Like that doesn't. Who are you around? Uh,
Men will say that they are an open book, but the pages are blank. Because men blame women for only going for chads, but then they're over here at 5'7", 50 pounds overweight, with receding hairline and latent alcoholism, only hitting up Becky's and Stacy's, doing the exact same thing. Because men do not want to see these same qualities within themselves. Men need to stop hating and shaming other men for having mental health issues, because it becomes a problem by proxy. It becomes our problem by proxy, because when men don't utilize their own male friendships for healing their mental health, it becomes a woman's problem. In my opinion, in the opinions of a lot of
Okay. Hot take: men and women can't be friends. Okay, men and women cannot be friends because by default, men and women are supposed to, marry and reproduce. You're supposed to be attracted to each other, and there's a proximity bias there too. It's another AP psych fact that I remember learning. And it's basically when you are close to each other on a regular basis, even if you have some differences, eventually one of the two, and it's usually the man, but one of the two will like the other one more. And that's another actual psych fact where, oh, granted, I remember my AP Psych teacher having to very carefully tread this, but I understood what she meant. Basically, one of the two parties will like the other one more. But they supposedly can't be friends. No. When you say you like each other, like the other one more, you mean actually romantic interest. Because men and women are supposed to reproduce. It's just part of how the psych works. So there needs to be some distance when it comes to men and women and friendships. There's a reason why there's the whole trope of the guy, being friends with a woman and trying to use that friendship to get with her. That women always lament. But it's just an orbiter there. And women like the attention. It's kind of like women giving the milk for free when it comes to the relationships and sex. It's the same. That's the same with men and orbiters. And no, orbiters is kind of demeaning, but that's essentially what it is. Because women thrive off attention. They need compliments because their attractiveness is their biggest value because it's part of their fertility. Women age like milk, men like wine. And so when you give women attention, that makes them feel better about themselves, raises their value, part of the inflation, blah 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 blah. And so when a man is friends with a woman, he is giving her attention and makes her feel better, and so she doesn't actually have to get in a relationship with him, and she doesn't actually have to give out the sex there. So like there's no point, and the man's still willing to fix her things. He's still willing to hang out and essentially go on dates that aren't dates. He's still willing to pay for things because men are a lot more generous, especially when they want a relationship, because believe it or not, there are lonely men, and not because they're dangerous. They're just lonely men, and the dating scene sucks. It's sad and it's unfortunate, but it's true. So men and women cannot be friends, and most of the time it's men who are the ones that are using the friendship for access to a relationship. But it does happen to women. I know this because, as a vagina holder, that has happened to me a few times. I've been friend zoned a few times in my early life, but but then after like the third friend zone, I was like, okay, maybe the problem is me, and I should change, and so therefore I changed. So I then I got a boyfriend 3 months later. Imagine that. Imagine that Miss 32 years old and never had a boyfriend before. If you never had a boyfriend, the problem is you, and so therefore you need to change. That's what happens. So anyway, long story short, men and women can't be friends. That's what matters, not what other girls think. So, you know, I consider myself a 6 on a good day if I put on mascara. Mascara is important because I look like a naked mole rat without it. But other than that, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a Stacy. I'm not a 10 out of 10, I can guarantee you that. So, there is an actual problem with the woman in the dating scene because they think that they are so much better than what they actually are. They have a double digit body count or even more. They're significantly overweight. They can't cook, they can't clean, they don't want kids. They want to be a girl boss and get that bag and have a college degree, but they want the man to make more than them. Like, these are all very common problems, and the reason why these talking points get recycled over and over again is because it's true, and it's only getting worse with time. I mean, Gamergate was over 10 years ago now, and all the feminists talking points and problems, well, the whole patriarchy has been replaced with like racism at this point as the main social concern. There are still feminists and social justice warriors out there that are still basically repeating the same thing over and over again. I don't know a single Zoomer girl who can cook. Well, there we go. Here, I'm gonna raise my pick-me status. I'm a Zoomer girl that can cook and I like to cook. there you go. Pick-me status raised. Even though I was late to my own stream and desperately need a shower, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? I would just call it a loneliness epidemic, if anything. I mean, yes, because there's also the fact that it does backfire on women. There's a reason why there are a lot of women complaining about, oh, there's no good men out there, and they can't get a man, and they're 35 and ready to settle down. Like, in a lot of ways, it's not fully women's fault, because it's feminism, which feminism is just communism, but for women. It's the great equalizer, making them believe that they have to get a job. It's made them flood the workforce and depress wages. It's made them get degrees and therefore oversaturate the degrees, which makes it harder for men. Like, the issues go on and on and on and on with these problems here. And it's really hard to break away with it because you have the entirety of society telling you you have to get a job, you have to get a degree. You know, you have to be the girl boss. You can freeze your eggs. You can waste your 20s partying and having fun. You go, girl. And then if you just actually go outside, you get a lot of the same talking points with older women and some older boomer men too, because this is what they've been raised with. And if you talk to other girls my age, they're going to college or if they haven't already graduated, and they're on that grind and getting that bag. Like, this is a huge societal problem here, and it has ramifications in both men and women and making things worse. So,
other women, men are actually not lonely enough. Men will get angry that we have boundaries and standards in our 30s and say we are delusional from learning from our past and the past of our fellow women. And they say that how dare we reject them when we are in our 30s? How dare we reject them if we are sub 5 or whatever that means? It's because we don't feel safe around you for a good reason. Delusional.
Should I be mean, chat? Because I really want to be mean, but I feel like it's such a low blow that I shouldn't do it. Okay, I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Is not the word. We have standards and boundaries because we have learned from our past. They can't afford SW, so we are over here having to deal with them pressuring us through every no and not accepting every no. And women want a life that is anything but the one that our grandmothers had, while men want the one that their grandfathers had. They literally romanticize our oppression because tell me why that most women do not want the life that our grandmothers had. We do not want to have 6 kids and get married at 18 because we have no other choice. And as soon as women started to have
the audacity of this bitch. Miss, I'm 32 and never had a boyfriend before. I will repeat this throughout the entirety of this half-an-hour video. How's that going for you? Unemployed, living with your mom, almost about to be homeless. Like, I'm getting all these factoids from her thumbnails and titles, by the way. Like, how's that going for you? Because at least if you got married at 18 and had 6 kids, you wouldn't be living with your mom. You wouldn't be almost homeless. You wouldn't be single. And you'd probably be a lot more fulfilled and happy because that's your biological necessity. And now you're 32. How's that going for you, bitch?
The option to not choose men, this is when men started to roll back our rights. They are over here trying to convince us that we are lonely, the lonely ones, until we believe it. They shame us for preferring the company of cats over the company of men. Women are no longer being manipulated, are no longer allowing ourselves to be manipulated. So true to form, they are trying to rebrand women through a smear campaign. Because they can no longer control us, they are trying to control the way people see us. Men cannot form communities without us. They can't even make friends without us organizing that. The truth is, only
Hey, men in chat, do you have no friends? Now that's a. I know it's kind of a dangerous question to ask because there's some problems with making friends in the modern age, especially IRL. But based off my interactions with you guys, most of you seem pretty decent actually. Okay, and no socialism. Okay, I'm not trying to be parasocial and homo and all that gay shit. Okay, but based off my interactions with you guys in chat, you guys actually seem relatively normal and okay. Based on my interactions with you guys in the Discord server, you seem normal and okay for the most part. I mean, there's a few odd ones. Yeah, you know who you are. um, but like, and I have seen in my Discord server how some of you guys have become friends, and it's been really awesome and cool to see that happen. Actually, and it makes and like it's I don't know. I find it really fun and fascinating that thanks to the Discord server that people have become friends and gotten along and there's like a small community there. Now granted, I guess in a way I'm kind of proving her point in the sense that it's because of a woman, but like okay, even if I didn't exist, there's still other Discord servers out there. There's still other communities. There's still the Warhammer community. There's still the Magic the Gathering community. There's still the D&D shit stuff. There's still just YouTube videos in general and fans of other male YouTube creators as like there's so many male interests out there that I've seen guys just get along and have friends and maybe it's nothing like once again a lot of that's online but like where the woman doesn't have to be involved at all. uh No friend group I've been in part of has a woman. That's good. Once a woman gets introduced into a male friend group, it's over. It's Joe over, chat.
the top 20% of male animals reproduce, and that's a fact. Yet men blame us instead of accepting their fate. Women choosing not to have children is the next step in human evolution. We are weeding out the violent men with no emotional intelligence, and it is a provable fact that married men and unmarried women are the happiest people compared to their counterparts. Men really think that because they are happy, we are happy. They really have no idea that how much they drain us affects our mental health and makes us want to opt out of marriage altogether. Men will say things like, we are locked in, and that we are moving in silence with absolutely no results. They go to the gym for 1 hour and then come home and watch the Undertape for the next 6 hours. They will literally bash us for having friends and being goal-oriented because they are aimless and all alone. It's always twos.
5 minutes in, how many times have I brought up the fact that she's 32 and never had a boyfriend before? Like, Winters, when you make this into a React sub video, I would like a timer. I would like a counter in like the corner somewhere. You're calling men aimless and lonely? Miss Unemployed, living with your mom, never had a boyfriend before? What the fuck's wrong with you? There are so many guys out there that are trying their fucking hardest to get their life together. They are going to college like a good little boy. They're going to the trade schools. They're doing something with their life, starting their own business. They're actually trying to survive. And there's a huge issue with the job market right now. A large part because there's a lot of Jew daycare jobs for women, and those HR ladies are creating fake job listings just so they can justify it. There's also a problem with fake job listings, so they can use it as a scam for H1Bs, and then the H1B problem that's a huge talking point because of how just massive it is. It's the deeper you go into the rabbit hole, the crazier it is. There's the AI, which is really just always Indians, but like there's still AI. And then it's just like the list goes on and on and on with all the problems with the job market at the moment, and the guys are trying their fucking damnedest to get it. I know two people, IRL, that haven't had a job in over a year because of how bad it is, and they have degrees, they have the qualifications, they have a long job history, work history that's consistent and good, and they just can't fucking get a job because it's just abysmal. Like, and you have the audacity, bitch, to talk about men being aimless and oh my god, I can't do this. I can't. Oh my god, we're 5 minutes in, chat. I'm gonna be crashing out before I even know it.
Who find the audacity to make you feel completely unsafe. We would kindly appreciate it if no men approached us ever again, because men don't just want women, they want control over us. Men are choosing extinction over evolution, and they are choosing not to step forward rather than to change.
Evolution doesn't happen in 60 years. Like, it's only been 60 years. 60 years, and in the Western world. Technically longer if you count Soviet Russia, which is where a lot of the feminist bullshit comes from, actually. They were the first original equalizers. This is one of the many reasons why feminism is just basically communism for women. But if we're going to be generous and include the Soviets, let's say 100 years is not enough for humans to evolve. You still had the biological programming to have kids in your late teens, early 20s, because that's when you're most fertile, and you start dropping off when you hit 30. That's the wall. And men still have the biological desire to reproduce as much as possible, hence why they have higher sex drives than women. Women aren't really supposed to be in the workforce. There's a reason why so many of them are on SSRIs and the rates of depression are so high. They're the unhappiest they've ever been. They have baby fever and they replace that with pets instead, or they nag and go in the HR roles. You cannot make them actually evolve. In this case, we as a society have created a artificial setup to force women to be fake men because it's supposed to be equal. Well, men and women aren't fucking equal. We have different desires, wants, and needs. And women are not supposed to be in the actual workforce. They have jobs and responsibilities. And that's called reproducing and staying at home and being the caretaker. They'll work on the garden, they'll take care of the home, they'll do the laundry, they'll make food, and they'll raise the kids at homeschool. That's how what they're supposed to do. And before somebody comes in and actually they had real jobs too, blah 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 blah. Like, yes, the real jobs were exactly that, including tilling the field because you had to back in the peasantry days. There were other things that women could do, and they still can do it. There's a reason why, like, she's got all this art in the background. She can do a side hustle with that and still raise kids. Like, but it doesn't mean they go into and work at Walmart and stock shelves. Doesn't mean, and they're not gonna be the garbage men. They're not gonna be the welders. They're not gonna be the plumbers and all that fun stuff. Those are all men's jobs. So you can never actually get a woman into that. There's a reason why nursing is like ridiculously high when it comes to women. You're never going to be able to fully get true equalizing in the workforce. All you're doing is getting depressed wages. I've rambled on so much, I forget what her original point was. I just hate this bitch. Jesus Christ.
As a low achieving loser myself, I am perfectly fine with both male and female losers never reproducing and being eliminated from the gene pool entirely. I'm okay with the fact that I have not been picked. I'm okay with the fact that I probably am not viable for reproduction. I've come to terms with this, and I think the men that are like me need to do the same thing and stop blaming other people.
Well, you're 32, so you're definitely not viable for reproduction.
Men are failing at something they always defer responsibility and blame onto us. So if a man is like failing at something, he always blames someone else. Typically, not every single time, but there is a huge lack of accountability when it comes to men. And let's be honest, the new abortion laws have de-incentivized dating as a woman in a real way. We have to guard our wombs as there is no second chances, and this is what they want. Or at least they think that this is what they want until no one wants to hook up anymore. And whenever men hear about women being harmed by another man, they always blame us for not being able to leave, or they always ask us what we did to make him so angry.
I was muted. I was fucking muted. Are you fucking serious? She must be crashing out and doesn't want to hear her naughty words. No! I blew my nose while she was talking and I forgot to unmute myself. I'm retarded. I'm retarded. Ah! Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry, chat. Woman's professional disclaimer. I'm gonna go back. I forget what I was trying to say. It probably wasn't important anyways, because who cares what a woman has to say? Look at this void over here. This dumb gut.
And whenever men hear about women being harmed by another man, they always blame us for not being able to leave, or they always ask us what we did to make him so angry. The fact that the patriarchy reduces...
Oh my gosh, you brought up the patriarchy. Okay, but before I start molding about her bringing up the fucking patriarchy like it's 2014 again, she is dodging accountability. Like, where is that? There's so many gifs out there, but there's like one in particular where somebody throwing shit at someone and it's just like woman dodging accountability. That's exactly what's happening here, okay? It takes two people to be in a relationship. Even if it's 90% the man's fault because he's a huge asshole, manipulative piece of shit, physically abusive, threatens with a gun, holds her hostage. That there's still that 10% part of the fact that you were the one to get into a relationship with him in the first place. Maybe you were manipulated, maybe it was all lies, but you still believed him and you still got into a relationship and put yourself in this situation. Are you a victim in this case? Yes. But at the same time, no, it's never, you're never truly 100% a victim. There's always something you could have done differently or better to try to make your situation not the way it was as much as possible. Is it easy? No. But it's called trying to improve in accountability and reaching out and getting help. And they're just dodging accountability once the fucking end. Like last stream on Wednesday when I was trauma dumping. Like, about my previous relationship. Like, one, I wasn't an angel. I had my own problems in the relationship too, where I was a bit of a bitch. Just a bit of a bitch. But there's also the fact that I got into the relationship in the first place. I should have left a lot sooner. I had my opportunities. I didn't take them. And I wasted too much time. Like, that's on me. And that is my fault for not doing that. And I regret that, eventually I did leave, and I'm glad that I did. But I still got into the relationship in the first place, and I still spent too much time in that relationship because I thought I could fix it. Well, I was delusional, that's not the case. That is my fault. That is my fault. It takes two people to be in a relationship, and you're no angel, you're human, you're not perfect. It's partly your fault too.
Men to slaves with a wallet is also a problem because I don't think the patriarchy benefits men, the majority of men, as much as they think it does. Because a man's gender role is basically how much money he's able to bring to the table, so this reduces him to what he's able to earn and not who he is as a person. Men who complain with their receding hairlines and latent alcoholism but refuse to see that how their past has affected their present are the absolute worst.
She's trying to sympathize with men by saying, like, oh, the patriarchy makes them evil because it only just makes them a wallet, which men are definitely more than just a wallet. I will agree with that. But at the same time, the woman's role is to carry the kid, and the man's role is to protect and provide. So, demeaning him down to a wallet is definitely horrible, and I strongly disagree with it. But the patriarchy, if one, doesn't exist in the modern age, and two, if it did, it would be, I wish it did, it'd be hella based. Because then you wouldn't have this woman complain about being 32 and single and never having a boyfriend before. She would be married and popping out kids, and she would be protected and provided for by a man that ideally loves her. Like, I wish the patriarchy was real, but it's not how it is anymore. But then, like, the whole, oh, well, it just demeans them down to a wallet. Well, yes, I agree, that's bad. This whole sympathizing with men after spending the past 6 minutes and 50 seconds bashing them is not how this works, lady. No. Just trying to be like, oh, poor men. No, that's not, after everything you just said, that's not how it works.
Why do conservative men go out of their way to pursue liberal women instead of just going for conservative women? It's like the desire to clip our wings and throw us into a cage because that's the real goal. If men wanted a woman that was aligned with their values, that's what they would do. They would choose a woman that's already aligned with their values, but they like the idea of taming the liberal woman. There are literally men on TikTok who I have seen having full-blown arguments with the idea of a wife that they have never even met. I never want to be in a position where I am trapped by a man or with a baby. I am so scared of becoming pregnant that I feel like celibacy at this point is the only option.
But weren't you already celibate? Actually, no. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I haven't actually watched the videos that she's made beforehand. But I was just going based off the titles. She technically said she's 32 years old and never had a boyfriend. She might say differently in the videos, so I could be wrong here. But she never actually said she's 32 years old and never had sex and is a virgin. And that's the key there. So it's just like, wait, aren't you technically a celibate anyways? Like, you're supposed to be this femcel thing? No, but she technically hasn't actually said that herself. So you're so scared about becoming pregnant that celibacy is the only way forward, you feel like now. Okay. Okay. I like how you're just ousting yourself right there. Interesting point.
I'm so concerned with my bodily autonomy being compromised. You have to be on a registry to donate organs while incapacitated. But for some reason, if you are brain dead and pregnant, you will be forced to carry the baby in the name of life. If it was about life, SNAP benefits would not be getting cut.
Oh my fucking god. Okay. Fun fact. I learned this the other day. But there's something called, oh, I knew about endangered species before the other day. But there are species of eagles that are endangered. And if you actually destroy a bald eagle egg, you can be heavily fined, possibly thrown in the prison, because you have killed an unborn eagle that's endangered. But heaven forbid that woman have to be told that they can't just abort their babies, because that's also, an unborn life there. Like, the logic doesn't add up here, like, at all. God, this has to be primal rage bait? Yeah, like, this is... I don't know what she was thinking with this. Because I was hesitant to call her a grifter earlier, but at the same time, her channel definitely felt like it was part of all the whole femcel, girl failure rage. She was getting crazy amounts of views. She apparently had a ton of subscribers and lost a lot of them because of this video that we're watching now. Like, she probably was raking in the cash because men are more generous with their money, and there's probably were quite a few men out there that would like to date her. And then she just lost it all because she opened her mouth a little bit too much. Oh, the retard takes with this one. And yeah, she wrote these down. She wrote these down and actually scripted this video. I think that was a good idea to release this here. I have to pause like every 5 seconds to actually get through, like, if I have to demolish every single one of her points. Because she is being contradictory, inconsistent, and just completely wrong on so many things. There are things women need to do to make them stand out and raise the bar, because there are so many women who think they can just exist and do nothing to get a man. And unfortunately, that is kind of true because the dating scene is so fucked up. But just because they can exist and get a man doesn't mean they're actually a good woman and are worth reproducing for, and usually makes your life hell. Like, MGTOW used to be a big thing back in like 2016, with the whole SJW feminist bullshit going on there. MGTOW stands for men going their own way. There was also a push for men's rights activists too, the MRAs, and I fully supported them. I know they kind of like fell down the whole hellhole of just like, I hate women, all suck, women need to be replaced by robots, saying genocided, blah blah blah, and I still actually kind of sympathize with that point, even if I disagree with it, because I can't blame women for wanting to go their own way, because there are so many risks involved in the dating scene in the Me Too movement, where even they do get married, they're going to get completely swindled in divorce courts. The woman can take their kids away from them. They can build everything and lose everything all in like an instant, because women just have so much power societally. Like, I still in a way kind of consider myself like a men's right activist, even though I know that term is dead and has a lot of bad connotations, because I think there should be changes to society in the legal system so men aren't so screwed over so easily because of how bad it is. And so a woman that can actually make themselves stand out by being able to cook for well enough and are able to cook meals that a man enjoys shows that ideally she's not going to be like one of them that are going to just take everything, including the house, because that means she actually cares and puts effort into just being what they are. Now, MGTOWs aside that make men unironically hate women and lower birth rates even more, I would agree it's not the solution. Unfortunately, it is men's responsibility to make the changes involved, because men are the ones who created feminism. Men are the ones who made this legal. Men were the ones who gave women credit cards. The Civil Rights Act help support the feminist movement, etc., etc. Because the men in charge, granted, we can talk about the ethnicity of the men in charge too. It was the powers that be, which were men, who allowed this to happen for various reasons here. So women just follow men and do what they're told, And society, and if the men don't do that, it's going to be the government. And hence why we have this wonderful lady here doing what she's doing here. So, yeah.
And they would still offer abortions. They still offer abortions for disabled babies because this is not about saving lives of every baby. It's about forcing able-bodied workers into existence so that they can work for the elites. I think I could go so much farther without if I didn't have the fear of violence and pregnancy hanging over my head. Millennials are the first generation to be free from men and live without them. And it is exactly as we come of age that they are rolling back the reproductive rights. We are literally the first generation of women to be completely free from the patriarchy.
Technically, Gen X was. Boomers still had leftovers. They were the ones that Boomers were the first one to be brainwashed with this stuff, but there were still a lot of norms and traditions in place that a lot of boomers didn't fully fall into the trap and have to deal with the consequences. Gen X is technically. Millennials, though, have it even worse because as generations have gone on, things have gotten worse and worse, and so millennials have it pretty rough. Hence why a lot of these women are in their 30s and complaining now. Like this lady.
Grandmothers and even our mothers had to wait and have a man's permission before they could even open their own bank account or own property. And that was
There's a reason why women were banned from credit cards. And they should still be banned from credit cards. And women do not have self-control. And they love shopping. The reason why a lot of ads are marketed towards women. Women have them significantly higher amount of credit card debt compared and bad spending problems and habits compared to men. Women shouldn't have credit cards.
Mere 55 years ago. This is how long they allowed us to have rights before they started coming for them. And the truth of the matter is that child-free women are a threat to society. We are no longer auditioning to be your wife.
Yeah, they're a threat to fucking society because society needs children to thrive and flourish. That's literally how humanity works. It's literally how the world works. Where creatures reproduce. Bugs reproduce. Cats reproduce. Plants reproduce. Humans are supposed to reproduce. And if you stop having kids, society fails. Yes, that is a threat to society. That's actually a huge problem.
So many women are heavily conditioned to be breeders and to appease to men. And they say that what has a woman created? We have created
Life.
8 billion people. And men's help with this endeavor only lasted 20 minutes in most cases.
Holy fucking shit. Who built the house? Who built the roads? Who worked on the plumbing? Who created science, or discovered science, I should say, and was able to advance the medical field to the point where people can live until they're 80 without lots of health issues. Granted, it's also because of the medical field that people have issues too. But who is the one who created society? Women are important because they're the ones that actually carry the kids and are supposed to raise them. That's why women are integral, and replacing them with robots is not good, but understandable why men support that. I'm not supporting it myself, but I understand. But you need men to build shit. You, jobless, which is good technically based off my standards, living with your mom, about to go homeless, no boyfriend at 32, you're not the one handling the plumbing now, are you? Who do you call when the toilet breaks? Who do you call when your car stops working? Who do you call when your life just completely crumbles? I mean, you're making this YouTube channel and getting money by men paying you, trying to either get with you or just sympathize with you and feel bad. My oh my god, the audacity of this bitch.
The woman's toll when it comes to raising every single human on earth is so insane and is so taken for granted. Our labor is taken for granted. It is expected for free. The loneliness epidemic is natural selection. Evolution is a multi-generational endeavor and it takes time, but women have more selective power than we have ever had. And female preference is changing. It has changed. We are now preferring emotionally intelligent men, non-violent men, and men who are self-aware and support our reproductive rights.
Chat, if a woman is emotionally intelligent, run. That means she's a crazy fucking feminist. She will destroy your life. And she will make you worse and not in the good way. Emotionally intelligent is just a trap to say that you need to support the feminist movement. And if you don't support the feminist movement, therefore you're emotionally unintelligent, you're retarded, and so therefore you're a waste of space. That's just what they mean with it. I'm not even joking. Listen. Women not being held accountable and refusing to take responsibility and having free will, quote unquote, and being able to do whatever they want causes women like this to exist. Okay? And she is one of many foids that have this mentality, even if she claims she's never had a boyfriend and she's 32 years old. You know? Like, she is part of the problem. Beat women more.
The men who don't stand a chance are being left chronically unfucked because they refuse to change. And if men were less apathetic about working at themselves and became interesting people, they wouldn't be unfuckable. We have to make enough to provide.
Bruh, do you talk to men? Oh my god. Most men have a variety of interests, and they're quite passionate about. Is it something that you as a woman are interested? Probably not, because fun fact, men and women are not equal. They are not the same. There's a reason why one has a vagina, one has a dick. There's different hormones involved. There's different skills that they're naturally better at. So therefore there's different interests. But men do have interests too. And if you truly care about the guy that you're dating, then again, she's never had a date supposedly, then you would care about that too. Even if you yourself are not actually interested in it, you would still care because that person cares. Most men actually have a variety of interests, whether it be guns, Warhammer, history, building computers, whatever the case is usually more technical, but it's a male interest. Men are interesting. Just talk to them, listen to them. They're fucking nerds. It's adorable. I love it. And we're only 10 minutes into this half-an-hour video, and I'm losing my mind.
Or they have to make enough to provide, and most men have chosen to opt out. It's not a mystery. Men don't connect emotionally anymore. When men get together, they usually isolate themselves in a room and watch sports alone and drink beer while the women are doing all of the work.
What fantasy land is she in right now? Oh my god.
I've seen this at every single family gathering that I've ever been to. Women need to protect ourselves because the church expects us to endure abuse for the man's sake. It's a self-imposed epidemic. Contrary to popular belief, most women want to be around men, but lonely men are such weirdos that we are just afraid of being touched without consent.
Lady, 80% of women have a rape fetish. That's a real statistic. 80% of women have a rape fetish. They want to be dominated. They want to be bred because that's biologically their desire. You're retarded.
These men expect us to submit. And to that I say submit to what? Poverty? Abuse? Because that's the reality. Some people are so detached from humanity that they are unable to bond anymore. And I think that porn addiction is to blame for this. Because porn addicted men are not able to connect. It's a male's self-imposed exile. If you want people to be interested, you have to be interesting.
Okay, porn addiction is a problem, yes. But porn addiction is a problem because of hoflation and women not being able to actually settle down and actually get with a man on their level. And so lots of men are lonely and men are horny. Men are very horny because it's their biological desire to reproduce like crazy. One man can impregnate 10 women. Not saying they should. They really shouldn't. Monogamy is the way. But men are horny, they need to reproduce, so therefore they're gonna jerk off a lot as long as they have a decent sex drive in them. And that means they have a decent sex drive, that means hormonally they're doing pretty well. Or they should be doing well. Okay? So that's why porn addiction's a thing, because they're lonely, they don't actually have a woman that they can fuck. And they don't have a woman they can fuck because of feminism. It's not like porn addiction's a problem, but not for the reason that you think it is. Okay? Okay, I know it's not okay, you're retarded.
Men say they are not allowed to cry, but then again, they're also not allowed to beat or unalive us, but that has never stopped them one time. Only men can cure the male loneliness epidemic. The ball is in their court. They are experiencing the consequences of their own actions. They have ample opportunity to evolve right along with us, but they are choosing to cling to archaic patterns. Men say they want traditional women, but they call us gold diggers for only choosing men who are able to provide. Men don't believe anger is an emotion that makes them emotional. But angry men literally commit the most crimes, yet for some reason we are labeled as the irrational ones. The system that oppressed us for centuries are finally changing tides and punishing lesser men. Yet they blame us and not the system. They blame our rejection and not the systems that have made them unlayable. The low-value man to alt-right pipeline creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. They consume rhetoric that makes them
Chat, am I a low-value man because I'm part of the alt-right pipeline? Also, alt-right pipeline is a 2016 term. Like, I use it from time to time because I find it funny, because the joke back in the day was that the anti-SJW creators like Sargon, Arch, V, Teal Deer, God, I'm trying to think of. Bearing, though I never really watched his stuff, but he was just around. Like all these other different there was also but the big names like Molly Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro, there was the Steven Crowder. There's a ton of people back in the day that were touching on these different topics from politics and the culture war, etc., etc. And there was this huge thing about, oh, the alt-right pipeline, they're making them Nazis, blah, 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 blah. And back in 2016, we just laugh and be like, ha, 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 oh, Nazis, we would never be Nazis. And now in 2025, it's like, why more problems create, why more solutions? That's why I like to bring up the alt-right pipeline, because I find it funny, for this. But it's not actually a term that anybody uses anymore, because it's 2025. This woman is way behind on the times.
Hate and blame women and makes them think it's okay to force a woman through pregnancy even if she herself is a child, and then they wonder why they're all alone. Daughters are no longer being raised to be wives and mothers, they are being raised to be productive people in society. It's almost like the loneliness epidemic is aligned with the DV statistics and lack of consequences around SA. Honestly, all the information for success has never been more accessible. Men are actively resisting evolution from the system of patriarchy that harms the majority of men as well as women. But let's not forget the people who protect predators and enable men's bad behavior. They are equally guilty. Male-centered women are kind of the worst when it comes to protecting male predators. I honestly have survivor's guilt from being from a generation where I have options. So many women don't have access to education and contraception, and a man is not a plan. I repeat that a man is not a plan. For women, marriage is like reading Cinderella backwards. Men think consent is implied when you are in a romantic relationship. Marriage is especially dangerous. There is a total lack of bodily autonomy in marriage for women. Women should start by eating.
What is she talking about? She's never even been married. Like, marital rape's a thing, even though I don't believe it is. You can get divorced and take everything, the kids in the house and the whole 9 yards. Like, women have a significantly amount of power legally when it comes to marriage as protections, because they are the weaker sex. But it's not good because of reality. It is no longer 1950 anymore. Women are not working all alone in the home and raising kids and not actually having an income. There's a reason why she used to get half of the income and child support, because she was supposed to be, not having a job, and so she needed some siphon off of it. But divorce was significantly rarer. Like, what is she talking about bodily autonomy? Women can have literally anything they want, and men just have to deal with it, unfortunately. Not real power in marriage just by the law. It's still a decent amount of power. Like, all she has to do is threaten, and the guy is just fucked. She can claim that she's been raped, even though they've been married, and I don't believe in marital rape, frankly. Except in extreme cases. And she'll get everything. If she really wanted to. Like, there's still a lot of concern in marriage there. Concern for men, I should say, when it comes to marriage. Not exactly women. The power imbalance is the complete opposite, whatever she's talking about here. Women have to get a job. There's so many marriages out there that don't have kids. When the whole point of marriage is to have kids. It's supposed to be a safeguard for women, so they can have kids, so they can be protected and provided for. But now they can be free and get a job. Suppose, well, I wouldn't call that freedom myself, and still not have the consequences of having kids, and the guy just has to deal with it. Like, oh my god, like the dead bedroom, for example, is a huge problem in a lot of marriages, even with and without kids, where the woman just does not put out. Men have to have sex. Women survive off of compliments and being told that they're pretty. Even when they're not. Even when they're 6 years old and they're a raisin. It's still the correct thing to compliment your wife and tell her pretty. Because that's what women need to survive, to make them feel good. Men need sex to feel that way. That makes them feel like they're viable, and it gives them the testosterone boost. It gives them the dopamine boost. And makes them feel desired. And there are so many women out there that just don't have sex, even when they're married or in a relationship, because they just don't feel like it. And the men just have to deal with it. And so they feel useless and undesired, unloved, and they just suffer with it. And dead bedrooms are a massive problem. What is she talking about lacking of bodily autonomy in a marriage here?
the head of the male at conception the way mantises do. Most men are obviously confused because they don't understand that porn is not real life. They actually think that real women are just not measuring out to their fake women online. And there is also weaponized incompetence by men who fuck up chores on purpose so that they don't have to do them at all. And unfortunately, men only like to complain about modern women without actually putting a flashlight on themselves. Unfortunately, staying single is about the only thing we can do as a woman to reduce the risk of sexual abuse. It's kind of funny to me because men want a housewife, but they don't have a house. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with one.
Why don't they have a house, bitch? Why don't they have a house? It's because the housing market is crazy inflated. Wages are significantly depressed because there are women in the workforce that are being replaced in real time by a bunch of brownoids here. Like, okay, well, why don't they have a house? Do we need to go through the list of reasons why? Because I can go through the list of reasons why. Okay, immigration, women, small hats. Like we can go on if we really want to. So why don't the men have the house, huh? You are part of the problem.
Wanting a traditional woman in your life, but most men are unable to be traditional providers. Yet they expect traditional women to treat them like a traditional provider without actually having to do the work. You won't convince me that most men are not submissive because 99.9% of them submit to the system and submit to the elites. I have more respect for a homeless man living off grid than I do for a cuck that fell for the 9-to-5 psyop. And if they weren't submissive,
Bruh, you're just complaining about the guy not having a house and not being able to provide. What do you think the 9-to-5 does? Now, granted, I can maybe see the perspective. Bear with me, chat. I'm gonna steel man her real quick, because of so many people leeching off welfare, like the homeless, the basketball Americans, all the welfare recipients, the single mothers, that kind of deal. You know, they don't have to get a job. They just leech off the taxes of the working man. And so you can actually make more money being a welfare recipient than you can actually working a job. I know somebody told me a long time ago that when you add up all their benefits that a lot of these people get, they make like 60,000 a year just in benefits alone. Meanwhile, a lot of people have most people's jobs for like 40 to 50,000 a year, depending on obviously what they go into and what they do. And that's if they can get a job in the first place, because the housing market, the job market is so abysmal there. So, like in a way, okay, not playing into the system yourself, you know, instead of paying for Shaniqua's 10 kids from 10 different baby daddies, you become homeless yourself and, I don't know, get the veterans benefits. But veterans, I heard the VA is really bad about that stuff anyways. But it's almost impossible for a white man to swindle the system, because of the fact that the system's working completely against white men. If you are a white man, you're punished for existing because you are racist, sexist, and homophobic. You are part of the patriarchy, and so therefore we have to give it to the black tranny across the street, who, because of DI purposes. Like, it's really hard for a man to actually scam the system. So the steel man doesn't even really work in reality.
the government would be overthrown by now. I mean, if you think about it, there would be a lot more rebellions and riots if men were not so submissive to the current system, because they think that it somehow still benefits them at the end of the day, even though it doesn't.
I think they are painfully aware it doesn't actually benefit them, hence why there was the MGTOW movement and the MRAs. There is this push for more conservative and traditionalism across the board. Like, what is she talking about? There's a reason why the funny mustache man is growing in popularity. Weimar problems create Weimar solutions after all.
I think gender roles are just as dangerous to men as they are to women, because gender roles are where incels come from. It's the men that fall short of these ideals that end up committing these crimes. Men think that they are sub 6 foot, not completely buff and macho, that they are gay and undesirable. And I think it's a shame that this has become the case, because that excludes the majority of men except for the top 10%.
Okay, that's like the one okay, other than the porn addiction, that's like the one good point that she mentioned. But the reason why guys think that is because of women. It's not true, but because of hoflation and the dating apps, women believe that they can get Chad when they are just mid, and she's apparently part of the problem too, that she is just mid, and so therefore they only go for the top 10% because they have sex with the top 10% doesn't mean they can actually have a relationship with them, and that's an actual problem. It's the woman's fault in this case, and it's the woman's fault because of feminism, and feminism is the whole reason why you're making this video, because you've been one-shotted by it. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, this woman is retarded here.
And, you know, they'll say that they want a soft-spoken woman, yet the reason we have to have our guard up and can't be feminine is usually because a man has harmed us and we have to protect and provide for ourselves. I can't tell.
Yeah, because of feminism, bitch. When you have to be a worse version of a man to survive, because you have to do a man's job when you shouldn't have to, then yes, you become less feminine. That's what happens. Like, and maybe I'm projecting a little bit, but that's what happened to me, okay? I wouldn't go as far as call myself a tomboy. I feel like that label doesn't really fully fit me. But I'm not very feminine because, and for there's a variety of different reasons why, like being raised by a single dad, horrible mother, blah blah blah. But one of the other reasons is because I felt, and I remember thinking this, but back in my social justice warrior days, is that I had to be a man to survive because that was the only way to really move forward. If I wanted to, I needed to be tough, I needed to be cold, I needed to be heartless, and I needed to just be motivated and spiteful to try to get ahead, to get my degree, and try to make something of my life. I literally thought this, and I was okay with it because I thought being feminine and a woman was bad. I didn't like pink. I didn't like wearing dresses. I didn't want to wear makeup and be pretty because I saw that as weak. I saw being like a woman as weak and ineffective. Because of that. And as I got older and actually wanted a boyfriend, and I changed to become more feminine so I could get a boyfriend, there are habits that I have to this day that are still kind of left over from that, because in a way you still need to kind of act like a faux man to survive. Like, you can't wear dresses and be pretty and be all dainty and feminine of when you're stocking shelves at Walmart. Like, I mean, you can try, but you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and like it's not exactly conducive for the work. Like, or if you work at a warehouse, even at the HR lady, when you're sitting your ass at a computer all day, you become fat and you start wearing leggings and become lazy. Like, we're not in a proper society for a woman to actually be feminine because they have to be fake men. It's a problem. Amal sits with her legs wide apart to let her massive dog and balls breathe. Actually, yes. I have a lot of male habits, like actual physical habits, like how I sit. I don't sit like a proper woman. I do main spread. I do like right now I have my one leg over like my one like knee folded down, and then the other leg with the ankle resting on the knee far apart. Like, I don't cross my legs and try to, because back in the day women would have to cross their legs to show hide their panties from when their dresses and stuff because it was immodest. I desperately need a shower, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt looking like a rat right now. Like, I'm gonna do this myself. Granted, I'm a little bit self aware, and I'm obviously not fixing it. But there are a few male habits that I have, and I can change them if I wanted to. But that's on me. Burping, picking your toes, not shaving. Amal has a lot of mannish habits. A little bit, yeah. God damn it. Let's carry on with the video, okay? Let's make fun of this woman instead of me instead. Okay? Okay.
Tell you how many times that I was just being friendly with someone, not thinking anything of it, only to realize that it was being taken and interpreted as flirting. The thing is, most men don't want a traditional partner. They want a career woman that they can domesticate and whose wings that they can clip. We are forced into our masculine energy to survive because we have all been harmed, and then we are blamed and criticized for having to be this way, even though it's not our choice, even though we're just doing it out of survival. And the thing is that if men could get pregnant or if men had periods, there would be Planned Parenthoods on every corner. But because it's a woman's issue, it's seen as a non-issue. It's not in our blood to become wives and mothers, and it's not all men who are able to protect and provide. And even when toxic masculinity is called out on how it harms both genders, nothing really changes. Men's emotional expression is limited to violence and anger, and this is what is reinforced. They are not allowed to yield or to empathize, so violence and domination is the only thing that is permitted to be used, and it is always weaponized.
Okay, 1. Anger and dominance is actually a good trait, but the best part of it is control. Jordan Peterson, I know he's kind of lost in the sauce right now, but back in 2016, he would talk about how men needed to be angry, and men needed to be dominant. The whole point was control, and that whole part is sexy. You need to be dangerous in particular, because you need to be able to protect and provide, both as a man and as your biological desire, and also because women find it attractive. Like the meme of Conan the Barbarian, all like super muscular, and having the naked woman and caption her and running her away, and it's like the mid brain take of the whole like this is sexist and this is patriarchy, and then on the IQ scale, and the low IQ woman saying this is actually the male fantasy, and the high IQ woman saying this is actually this is the woman fantasy, and the high IQ being also the woman's fantasy. It's basically that like men do need to actually be dangerous, but they need to be able to control it. But what's happened in the modern society is that they're not controlling it. They've been completely neutered. They're actively being feminized. They're turning the freaking frogs gay is not a meme, it's reality. Between the processed shit in our foods, the vaccines, the estrogen in the water supply because it doesn't get processed properly thanks to birth control and how many women are on it, the sedentary jobs that they're in, and a lot of guys just need to go to the gym to raise the testosterone boost, the dating scene being abysmal, like, and being told they need to be more emotional. Like, there's a lot of problems with society and how they're treating men. Women are becoming faux men, and men are becoming faux women. It goes both ways, and it's because of feminism in modern society in this regard. So, she doesn't know what she's talking about, if that hasn't been clear from the past 16 minutes and 36 seconds at all. And on that to mention, too, men are the romantic sex. I firmly believe this at first. When I first heard this a few months ago, I was kind of like, I can see it, but I don't know if I fully agree. But as time has gone on and I thought about it more, it's yes, I do firmly believe men are the romantic sex. There's more to them than just the anger and dominance part. They want the whole part of providing is to show that they care, and that they want to help, and they want to take care of their woman. Whether that means fixing things or sex or just the compliments that they give, because whatever the case is, men's fantasy has a lot of taking the girl and providing for her and making her comfortable. All of technology is created. I say all of it. Society is created and technology is created to make women's lives easier. Men are the romantic sex. Women just want to be bred.
Women want help around the house with cleaning and childcare. Most of them are also working full time and still expected to do all the house chores in the house. Men want to weaponize loneliness against women, telling us that being a cat lady and guarding our peace is a terrible fate, when in reality, it's probably the most happy we'll ever be. Women are even blamed and shamed for the fact that men are alone, shamed and blamed for choosing ourselves and not playing the game. We refuse to be dominated and pour ourselves into other people that do not reciprocate. Only the oppressed know how bad the oppressor can be, and men are trained that their experience leads everything. They don't realize that when we are alone with men, we see a very different side of the same men that they say who would never do that. The Jekyll and Hyde phenomenon is real, and so is not being believed by other people.
Once again, what men is this woman interacting with? Seriously. Pick your associates better. Or are you just a bunch of brownoids? Because, like, what are you talking about? I literally don't understand. I've never had any problems with men, other than the crack addict in the story I told earlier. It's not... I guess I've had, there's my high school boyfriend that was also kind of bad too, but that was my bad choosing because I was so desperate to get a boyfriend in the first place. But, like, in general, I've never really had any problems with men because you can pick who you associate with for the most part, and you just like I don't understand what she's talking about. What, like, at all? I don't get it. Has she interacted with a man recently? I don't get it.
Women and men do most of each other's roles effectively, but the societal stigma stops them. Men care more about the judgments of boys than what you have to say because they only care about what their boys think of them. Most men are not willing to accept the level of sacrifice that's required for traditional masculinity. They want a woman to wait on them without living a life of principle. And the average man expects women to work like a man and still take care of the house. We have long gone other days we have long days at the office just like you, and we shouldn't have to do the chores of 2 or more people. If men were genetically wired...
Okay, so if you don't have to do the chores for 2 or more people, then why does the man have to do chores for 2 or more people?
To protect women or their communities, they wouldn't be committing the majority of violent crimes and starting wars and committing every atrocity since human beings came into existence. It is not natural for a man to be a protector or a provider. That has to be conditioned into them. It is natural for them to be violent. It is natural for them to attack women and take advantage of women. Don't get me started on how society stigmatizes and punishes single mothers for being the parent that stepped up and stayed.
Bro, I'm gonna have. Okay, hold on. Give me a second, chat. I'm gonna have aneurysm. Okay, I need to calm down because I got heated up real fast there for a hot minute. Okay, one, bitch. It is in their natural biology for protector and providers. It is also in their biology to be angry and violent. Goes back to the whole repeating what Jordan Peterson used to say about being dangerous, but having it under control. White men, specifically European men, are able to do it. They have evolved to handle that. Whatever nuns you're around clearly have not. And those are a little bit more violent. There's a reason why the rape statistics are so much higher with the nuns. They are more violent. There's every single time you hear about another white girl or dying is always a nun. And then two, the other thing that pisses me off real fast is single motherhood. Bitch, it takes two people to tango. Two people to have sex. And like you are saying, the woman is the one carrying it. She's the one having to deal with the brunt of responsibility, which is why the old phrase used to be, women control access to sex. Because they have a lot more risks and they're the one actually carrying it, because only one man can get her pregnant. And that is a woman's responsibility to choose the man she has sex with. So if she does get pregnant, thanks to him, hopefully she picked right and the man will actually protect and provide for her. So it's not the and yes, I do think it's really shitty when the man steps out because it does take two people to tango after all, just like I said, and it's also his responsibility since it is his sperm and his need to procreate. But it's women's responsibility to choose who they have sex with because they're the ones spreading their legs in the first place, and if they're just popping out babies left and right because they have no self-control, and I don't know how to take birth control, which I'm not sadly a fan of birth control, but still, it's another way to try to take responsibility. That's on the woman. And my taxes pay for their irresponsibility.
Guarding your womb should not be subversive. Guarding your womb should not be controversial. It is inherently necessary to protect your womb from this patriarchal system. It is a flex to have an empty womb at this point. Most men say they want a feminine woman, but they are not dependable, self-sufficient, or able to provide. I know there are good men. I know there are good men out there, but they are rare. They are not the majority of people. And
holy fuck.
There's a saying that the average woman is the same as a high-value man. We're emotionally intelligent in most cases. We care about other people. We help around the house. And a high-value man does all these things. We are redefining what it means to be a high-value man for these men, and they don't like that. Men are obsessed with women's body counts because they are competitive with other men, and they are jealous that a man that they have never met has been with this woman before. And in most patriarchal cultures,
men care about body count because if you let any man sleep with you, that means you have no standards. And you do not care who you actually reproduce with. Because once again, it's a woman's responsibility to choose who she reproduces because only one man can get her pregnant. And each man she has sex with is a higher chance she's getting pregnant by him. And if she just sleeps around with anybody, that means she's willing to get pregnant by anyone and he's not special. There's nothing about him. And then on top of that, too, there is the biological hormone perspective of things, where women create oxytocin when they have sex, and it's a pair bonding hormone because women rely on men to be provided for and protected once again, because that's just how it's supposed to work, and so therefore they have bonded with the man when they have sex with him. The more you have sex with different men, and the more the bond breaks, the weaker the bond is when it tries to develop again, because you're training your body to ignore those signals to pair bond. And so it becomes harder and harder to actually have a relationship and stay faithful and actually join together with the man you finally decide to settle with. Men have a similar thing, though it's not the same, because it goes back to the whole one man can have sex with multiple women and get them impregnated. There's a reason why harems are a thing. The kings would have the 10 wives because of that, but the wives would only have the king because their men and women are not equal. Different biology, different functions, different mentality, different hormones, different everything about men and women are completely fucking different. That's why there's different standards. And this is absolutely exhausting that she can't get through her thick fucking skull why this is what it is. And she's just repeating these 2014 feminist points. And we still have 10 minutes left in this video, and I feel like I've lost my 2 brain cells.
The woman is blamed for pissing off her husband if he beats her.
Based.
Men want power over younger women. They would go for teenagers if it was legal. Our most exploitable ages are...
Is this where I pull up Matt Walsh? Okay. Okay, listen. Okay, I'm not to pull a Matt Walsh here, but women are fertile at 16. Now, I'm not saying you should have sex with a 16-year-old. That's illegal and that's bad, and don't do that. But technically, 150 years ago, women were getting married off at 16 because that was the normal age. We as a society have changed that for various reasons, and we should keep that. I'm not advocating for lowering the age of consent. Okay, that's bad. Don't do that. Slippery slope. But women are but technically, biologically, women are fertile at 16, and men are or can be attracted to them, but then they learn the age and they think no, because they're not suicidal. Okay, glad we're on the same page. It's the same page here.
between 15 and 25. If you are a woman and you can avoid getting locked down during your most exploitable years, you can probably avoid abuse altogether. But then again, these patriarchal systems encourage women to get married before the age of 25. And a man is not a plan. He can leave you high and dry. He can drain you of all your resources and leave you worse than dead.
Dude, how many times do I have to bring up the court system in this video alone? Women have significant advantage in court. A significant advantage. It takes a lot to actually damn them so they lose custody of the child. So they don't actually get child support. So they don't actually get the house. It is almost impossible, and it takes a severe case. Like, it is so bad what it takes to get that far. What is she talking about here?
As nice as it would be to depend on someone as a woman, most men can't provide for themselves, let alone a partner. And 1 in 5 women are victims of domestic violence.
Beat women more.
Which can be avoided by avoiding a partner. Being a stay-at-home mom is a flex and a status symbol. It's not something that's accessible to everyone these days. Men shouldn't be bashed for having feminine traits, and women shouldn't be bashed for having masculine traits. Just look at Michael Jackson and Prince. Neither one of them are macho men, but they were living legends and were very and extremely successful in what they did. Men hate girls despite being the consumer of the OF industry. Like, men hate OF women. Men hate that women are monetizing their sexuality. What men hate is the exchange of power of sex workers making money off something that they are not entitled to. Men hate when women are the authority over their own sexual agency. Men hate when we profit over something that they feel like they should just have by default.
Okay, prostitution's the oldest profession because going back to the point that men are very horny individuals and they need to reproduce. They need to have lots of sex. Now, they should be having it with their wife, and they should be reproducing, but men like having and spreading their seed to multiple different women because that is within their biological desire. Prostitution will always be the oldest profession and the most long-living one. However, just because you're a prostitute doesn't make you wife material. Giving it out to every single man that comes by does not make you wife material. It means you don't actually have any regard for yourself. There's no self-control. You're weakening your parabonic hormones again. You have a higher chance for STDs. The list goes on and on and on. Just because a man will have sex with you doesn't mean he'll marry you. You need to have specific traits for most men to actually become marriage material. Believe it or not. It's like the same thing going back to the orbiters that I brought up in an earlier conversation. Men will use women for sex and just for sex, while women will just use guy friends just for attention. When a woman friend zones a guy, she doesn't see him as husband material. She sees him as orbiter material. Well, that's because he gives her attention and makes her feel better for herself, or he is willing to do whatever she needs without actually having to give out, and so is easy access. It's basically the same thing. It's just their equivalents for the different sexes. That's what it is. So that guy that you just see as just a friend is your equivalent to the guy who sees a woman as just for sex. That's just how it works. I'm not sorry there's a double standard, because that's just simply how the world works.
Gender roles were designed to be unequal and truly only benefit the top 20% of men. Incels believe that they are entitled to a woman simply because they exist, and they act in violence when they don't get it. What they don't understand is that only 20% of men are actually able to attract women in the first place, and this is a cross-species analysis. Most male animals do not reproduce. Only the top 20% of men or top 20% of animals in any given situation end up reproducing. Women who expect to be provided for as a child usually find out that their provider male ends up resenting them, and you may end up infantilized. I mean, there's this TikTok saying of a woman that was accused by her husband of writing off her income when she had been a stay-at-home wife like he had wanted. Men don't actually want to pay your bills. This is something that they only do out of obligation, or so it seems. Men ask what we bring to the table when they don't even have a house to put the table in. Men want a woman that work full-time, pay 50-50, and carry the weight of both roles while expecting to receive a feminine woman.
Men who believe in the propaganda, yeah, but there's a growing majority of men who don't actually want that because of how much it does damage the family unit and relationships. Maybe because of the circles that I'm in, because I'm in the right-leaning bubble of wherever the fuck I'm at, but a vast majority of them want their wife to stay at home because of all the negative effects. They want to provide. Right now, the income is a little bit scummy there because it's actually his income, but like that's not a common problem. And once again, she's bringing up men not having houses and not actually addressing why men don't have houses in the first place.
Men must provide not just financially, but emotionally and physically. Ourselves are a blend of both feminine and masculine energy, yin and yang. And as men and women, we have both yin and yang energies within us. Gender roles may give us a clear book on how to follow or how to categorize people. They are like a simple formula for the behavior and the behaviors of others. This oversimplification of relationship dynamics is absolutely absolves us of doing the inner work on ourselves. And I would like to remind you guys that women could not open our own bank accounts until 1974. And because of this dynamic, men have traditionally been financial providers. This is the main reason that men have been traditional financial providers. It is not because they are inherently better at making money. It is because we were unable to earn our own money until
There's a reason why women are irresponsible, and look what's happened since then. Have things gotten better since the civil rights movement? Have things gotten better since women were able to have bank accounts and credit cards? I think not. Repeal the 19th.
Very recently. This was only 50 years ago. As soon as my grandmother could open her own bank account, she got a divorce. We are among the first
Holy fuck, that's awful of your grandmother. She's a cunt.
Generation of women where financial independence was even possible at all. And so I try to remind myself that when I'm struggling with financial independence, I remember that it has been less than a century since something like this has even been possible in the first place. And that's what these female podcast grifters don't understand. People like Candace Owens and Pearl Davis, they're all independent women. If they were not allowed to open their own bank account, they wouldn't have their own podcast even.
Shit, I got called out, chat. I got called out there. I'm an independent girl boss myself after all here with my own little podcast. Hi chat, how you doing today? But it's over, Amal. The mask slipped off. God damn it. No, she got me. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And my defense, I have to do this. Right? Well, I don't have to be a streamer. Right. But I do have to have a job. I am required to have a job to pay my bills. Because it is almost impossible for a family to be provided on one income. I could probably just leech off my dad because my dad makes okay money, but that is irresponsible of me. And I should pay my bills here too, since he's allowing me to stay with him in that case. And ideally, I would stop this once I actually had a family of my own. Like, I don't want to do this forever. I actually did really try becoming a housewife and fulfilling that goal of mine. I didn't go to college. I didn't have a career. I don't want any of this stuff. I didn't want to become a girl boss and run my own business and blah, blah, blah. Like, that wasn't anything that I wanted to do. But it's either this or I get stuck in, like, the wage cage again. Okay? Like, either way, I have to work. It's just depending on what I'm working on. And in this case, I'd much rather be streaming because it's a lot more enjoyable. I get to bash women like this. I get male attention on the internet, which is what women all strive for after all. Right? I don't have to go for the 9 to 5 thing. There are a lot of benefits of streaming. There's also some drawbacks too. I have learned there is a lot of things that happen in the back end that are kind of stressful, but I wouldn't change this for the world, and it's thanks to your guys' generosity that I'm able to do this. And I'm fairly grateful for that. But either way, I have to work because that is how the society is set up for. And hopefully one day I won't have to. But in the meantime, I do. And it's not ideal at all. And it's something that that's why I'm advocating for this change. If I do have to be a girl boss streamer with my own podcast, or if I do have to have a job, I want to advocate for change so this stops, so I don't have to, so I can actually raise kids and be a housewife and be a stay-at-home mom and homeschool my kids. So I can push for the change, but that can happen for a lot more women. So other girls my age and younger don't end up being like this void on the screen who is 32 years old and complaining about the patriarchy because she's been brainwashed into thinking that feminism is freedom and release when she's miserable and depressed living with her mom and never had a boyfriend before. Like, does this woman look happy complaining about the patriarchy? I think not. I think not at all. Like, this is it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I don't support it, so I'd rather be that change. If this is work, can we scold you for sleeping and coming in late? Yes, you can. Like, that is irresponsible of me to be late for my own streams. That's not a good thing to do. The fact that, like, when I saw how many people were waiting for stream, I about had a fucking heart attack, and I was like, holy fucking shit. I'm letting all these people down. Like, that is an actual problem. That should not be the case. I mean, it's nice that in this case I get to laugh at it and be like, ha ha ha, look at the dumb woman oversleeping, but it's still irresponsible of me to be like that. Because women should be responsible too for what they need to do. You can't oversleep and ignore your children. There are still responsibilities a woman should have. It's not that deep. No, but at the same time, like, it's not as deep as maybe like a typical 9 to 5, but it's still not a good thing for me to do, right? Like, it's still irresponsible of me, after all.
It probably wouldn't have even been possible for them. Yet they're over here trying to marginalize other women. The patriarchy is damaging to men as well, because men, as we all know, are conditioned out of expressing their emotions except for violence, and the violent crimes are rampant in our society. These systems were created by the ruling class. We shouldn't be forced into these rules and shamed if we don't fit in. Boys and men bond over violence towards women and anti-women rhetoric. Just check out the voice chat in games like Call of Duty if you don't believe me. And in order for men...
She's bringing up Call of Duty in 2025? Does anybody still play Call of Duty? Okay, I know Battlefield's like the popular shooter game at the moment, but does anybody actually play like... Call of Duty anymore? The voice chats, the heavily censored voice chats, where you used to be able to say the N-word and some of the worst things in the world, and now you can get your account banned because they're monitoring that shit. What? This is literally okay. I know I keep on saying she's making 2014 feminist talking points, but when but I thought she was just behind on the times. So she's just a brainwashed feminist. But her saying this about Call of Duty and voice chats makes me literally believe she just found Anita Sarkeesian and she found this like inspirational and like her life goals and everything. What is this grift? Like
And to be accepted by capitalism and patriarchy, they must be domineering and they must engage in conquest, usually over women. Men perform their gender for their boys, for other men. Most men don't actually perform masculinity for women. There are no systemic barriers preventing men from going to college. Instead, education is being devalued and being seen as feminine and unmasculine.
Oh my god. She clearly has never heard of DEI, or she thinks it's some like right-wing conspiracy theory, because there's literally college applications and grants and systems in place specifically to demote white guys and raise up the black trans woman instead. That has been in place for ages now. And only recently did they overturn affirmative action, which is part of that problem too. and part of affirmative action is to have more women in college degrees. It's I remember when I was looking at going to college and looking for grants during that time, like it was really hard. Like even though I was a woman, there were so many of them that were just for blacks and for Mexicans and people of color. Like finding one for a white woman was actually a lot more difficult than I kind of expected because I am a white woman. Granted, there was definitely some for women in general, but it was very clearly pushed for diversity's sake in this regard. So, she does not know what the hell she's talking about. And women are I think, what was the statistic? Like, I think 60% of women are in, like, colleges is full of women now. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but it was the majority of college applicants are women at this point in time. Men are going to college, and granted, it's kind of a good thing to a certain extent. College should be only for certain degrees, anyways. But like it's a highly feminized because it's been specifically targeted for women to become highly feminized, so they don't have kids and they go into the workforce and become goy slaves and then try to settle down at 35 or in this case 32 and then complain about the world. Like it's everything she's saying is just the complete opposite.
Unless you can fully provide for a woman, pay her bills, and provide a lifestyle, then you can't expect her to be a wife. Most men can't, yet still expect this. So many women complain about weaponizing competence in their marriage. So many married women are married single mothers. Just because you sign up for a marriage does not mean the distribution of labor will be fair. Men are socialized to hate women and do anything to avoid being like a woman. They are attracted to us and yet resent our emotions and who we are as people. They want to be near us for what it means for them and their social circle. They care more about having clout with their friends than they do about us as people. Gender expectations are toxic. We shouldn't have to perform our gender just to avoid abuse. Gender roles differ significantly across cultures and historical periods, indicating that they are not biologically determined, but socially created. Research shows that people often conform to gender norms due to societal pressure, indicating that
1, gender roles are usually pretty universal across the board. 2, people create culture, people create society. Society creates the culture as well. People are the society, people are the culture. It's cyclical in nature, the cycle. So gender norms exist because it was determined that's the best way for them to function as a society. That's why the culture is the way that it is. Now we can say not all cultures are equal, which I will agree with that. There's definitely worse ones than others. I definitely don't want the Somalians in here at all. But that's just how it works. It's because of the people make this way. And if she thinks the West is so oppressed, so evil, so patriarchal, I want to send her to Afghanistan. I want to send her to Somalia. I'll send her to India. We'll see how long she lasts there. Then you can cry about the patriarchy and the rape culture and how evil men are. Then you can see how truly oppressed.
the roles are only adopted due to societal influence. I personally have a hard time performing femininity. I was a tomboy who never wore dresses or talked about boys, and to this day, I'm not what I would consider to be a traditionally feminine woman.
I mean, I would say the same for myself.
We are handed baby dolls when we are still babies ourselves. I've had to carve out my own identity outside of a traditional gender role because it's never suited me.
I'm just a 32-year-old child. Don't lewd me. Don't sexualize me. I'm just a 32-year-old child. Okay then, whatever.
I could never figure out how to perform femininity without feeling cringy and disingenuous. I still don't know how to do my hair and my makeup really. And to be honest, I don't take care of my house. I'm not very clean, and I'm just not maternal.
I mean, I can see that, but those are all things you can change. Like, there are tutorials on YouTube for hair and makeup things. It doesn't take much to actually clean the house. You can change yourself if you wanted to. Because the thing is, I actually agree with this, because I relate to this, because I'm the same way. But you can change yourself. I changed myself when I was trying to get a boyfriend back in high school, because I was just like this. But I told myself, I am lonely, I am desperate, I want a boyfriend. What do men like? Okay, men like more feminine women. Okay, so then I will become more feminine. And within 3 months of me doing that, I was able to get a boyfriend. Now, was that a good choice? No, I was a little bit too desperate in that regards. But it was possible because all I had to do was change myself and improve myself for the better. Changing yourself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing if it's improving. If you truly are concerned about that and you truly want a boyfriend, which she clearly does not, seeing the shit that she's spouting right here, You can change yourself and you can learn if you really wanted to. You just need to put the fucking effort in. Or just own the fact that you're not putting in effort in and die single alone with your cat.
I've had so many people bully me for rebuking performative femininity, and for many years I lost my voice. When men are asked what they do if they were women for a week, not a single one of them said submit to a man, dress modestly, and care for children for free. They all said that they would have fun, get free drinks, and shake their asses. That's what they wanted to do as a woman. None of them wanted to actually be what they wanted a woman to be, because that's not what they would want for themselves if they were women. I've never been a good girl, to be honest. I want to use my voice, and I don't care if I'm being labeled as difficult or too much. Men are much better off if they don't fit in. They are not much better off. Male loneliness epidemic is full of expendable leftover males who fail to become sexually desirable for one reason or the other. And at this point, I think being single is really my only option. Again, guys, my name is Shelby. I exist and I make stuff. If you guys wanted to subscribe to this channel, please do so. I live stream pretty much every day, and I'm happy that you guys joined me for this talk. Remember, you're not ugly. You're probably just dangerous towards women if you can't get someone to fuck you. It's something that we all need to consider. And obviously not all of you watching this apply that.
She's starting to cry. This almost feels performative. She spent almost a half an hour reading off a script, badly reading off a script, mind you, and talking about how evil men are. And now at the last 30 seconds of it, she's starting to cry because she's accepting the fact that she's single and lonely, even though she's not willing to recognize the things that she needs to do in her life to change so she doesn't become single and lonely. Because even though she's 32, she still has a chance. Like, I might like to poke fun at her for being 32 and never had a boyfriend before, but like, there are going to still be men out there who will actually take her and accept her. Now, will she be able to have kids? A bit of a different story. And she might have to find a guy that already has kids from a previous relationship because divorce rates are so high. Oh, that's going to be close to her age. But she can still possibly find somebody if she truly wanted to. And now she has the destiny to cry about it here.
It doesn't apply to all of you, and I know I'm going to get a really high dislike ratio on this video, but I've decided that I'm going to post it anyway.
Suicidal.
And anyway, I guess I will see you guys in the next one. You can follow me on Instagram with the links below. And thank you so much for participating in my channel, and I'll see you later.
Well, so chat, what would you rate this video? After all, do you think she was correct? Do you think she's smart? She hates herself, yeah. This is the Vince Simpson. What was the point of alluding this? But apparently because she's suicidal. Because, like I said, so supposedly with this woman, she just started her YouTube channel about 5 months ago. Her first videos are complaining about her being 32 years old, unemployed, single, living with her parents, that she never had a boyfriend. Her 20s were awful and a total waste. I'm completely worthless and have no one to talk to. Blah, 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 blah. Supposedly she had a lot more subscribers and was hemorrhaging them after the video that we watched got released. It got so much hate that she made it members only, so only, I don't really want to use simps, but if you pay to watch this, then you are a simp, like, are doing this. And so people had to re-upload this. All that yapping, I don't see any sandwiches. I know, horrible woman here. For both me and her. And so now we can't even see the comments, because apparently she got her ass just completely exploded here. This video was released 3 weeks ago. Where is it at there? Apparently she like doubled down on it. I don't know if this is the doubling down video or not. I do, but apparently her Reddit thread, because she had a Reddit, got completely just obliterated. So there's like nothing on there. And then after this, she gets exposed for her art, because as you can see, she's got all the like art stuff in the background. And her whole name is that she's Shelby, she's exists, she makes stuff, and that's part of her making a living. Apparently, it's like AI. I don't know how true that is, but apparently she got exposed for her stuff being AI on top of that too. And here are some of the comments that people were able to catch before everything got taken down. Scammer, she wants her viewership to give her money. You're right, this is your fault, and you're a woman, you deserve equal treatment, so I will give you that. I will treat you like I would a man friend. You're not nice, grow up, bro. You're 32, a woman child, with a victim mentality, living rent-free with your parents, stressing them out to the point they want you out of their home, crashing out all the time. You have it good, be nice, do things for them. Maybe this is for the best. Maybe being kicked out will help you not be like that. I was a supporter, but you lost that. It's not difficult to see how you act. I wish you well and hope you get your act together. I know you have issues, but maybe you should look at the way you treat people. I do not wish you harm, but you want freedom. This is it. This is it, dude. This is you being thrown out of the nest. You want to be big, strong, independent woman, but you won't let go. If you change your perspective and use this as a chance to grow, you'll do fine. You are a victim of you. I don't say these things to crush you, but to help you. I think it's time you let yourself grow up. Good luck. So the more you cry, the people donate more money. 3 videos in a row, low. Cry more equals more donations. Another cash injections from the simp army underway, even though you call them dangerous, LMAO. I even made a video response. I will also recommend making a GoFundMe open for emergency commissions. Yeah, let's sponsor some random spoiled rich grown-up brat. Let's invest in her so she can trash talk to us when she gets the money. The last thing she needs is more guys simping for her. It's only enabling her. We want video proof of all your claims. Show your mom yelling at you to back up all your statements, otherwise you're just lying like everyone else in this digital era because you want a payday. We the people are calling you out, just like a politician. We want proof. Holy fuck. That is brutal. Those damn dangerous sexist males who give crying things money. I know how evil they are. How fucking evil they are. It's insane. Like, she does not realize what she actually has. At all. At fucking all. If she's able to make decent amount of money making YouTube videos and crying for the camera, she is fucking lucky. Being rent-free with her parents and everything like that. Like, I don't, like, she does not realize what she actually has. At all. I'm baffled men simp for her at all. Because no offense to you guys, men, but men want to protect and provide once again. That's a whole basically counter argument to her entire half-an-hour video. It's the fact that men want to protect and provide. Men here are crying women and that they want to help for the most part. At least Western men do, because that's what Western men are. That's why you should beat women more, actually. Like, so they don't actually abuse their emotional manipulating. Because that's what women do. Women are evil. And I say this as a woman. Like, I am well aware that as a local vagina holder here, I have an advantage. I am well aware that I get my support thanks to you, chat. Which 99.9% of you guys are men. I understand that. And so for her to have the audacity to just completely bash her viewer base that's being very generous with her, to allow her to survive on making videos and live streams, and calls them dangerous and horrible and just, oh, it's a waste of space and everything like that. Like, what is wrong with her? Like, she does not realize how easy women have it. Even if we do have to get a job, and I don't believe we should repeal the 19th, ban them from getting credit cards, chain and ball them to the kitchen, and just forcibly impregnate them. That's what I want, frankly. But since if we have to have a job, then we have to have a job. And if you're a woman on the internet and you can actually make a living with content creation, then you're fucking lucky. Actually, and men in general, and also this goes to men too, right? The male content creators, because they also survive based off donations and ad revenue as well. So, like, it goes both ways. But in this case, women do have it easier in the content creation space because they're women. That's just how it works. And if you are an ungrateful cunt who completely throws your viewer base under the bus after they supported you and helping you out and trying to care about you, then you deserve to be completely burned. You deserve to lose everything if you're going to be so ungrateful, so unappreciative to what you actually have. Jesus Christ. It's so annoying. It's so fucking annoying. I hate women so fucking much. I hate women so fucking much. It's insufferable. Like, the women are their own fucking worst enemies.